Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Hello and welcome. Can you take a guess as to why I'm dancing and grooving this awesome afternoon? That's because it's the final Monday, the last Monday in January. It's January 24th, and we're finally at the end of the Myths About Growth. But of course, we're still continuing with the 30 minutes of growth with Abisola Olabisi. And I have a special announcement to make for what you should look forward to in February. How many of you have had light moments with the meat that we've been discussing? Of course, go ahead and use the reaction button with the heart shape, whatever it is, and any emoji that you choose is absolutely welcome. And how many of you have had a break out of many myths that you have always believed? Or how many of you have had a break free or a breakthrough from the things that you have learned through this video? So I've been receiving a lot of feedback. Many people didn't know many things about growth. And some of us, so many of us, I'm sure, have been so hard on ourselves. But now you understand what growth is and what growth is not. So, on this final episode of the growth mindset and the myth about growth, I will be sharing with you the two nuggets that I have. Yes, chicken nuggets is even better than chicken nuggets, okay? About the myth regarding growth. And this one, if you can take a guess, anyone who wants to guess what this myth is about? It's a popular one, okay? It's a very much popular one, and it has to do with patience, okay? Many of us believe that growth is fast. Did I hear anybody laughing in the back? Yes. I'm sure you think that growth is fast. Many of us go about with the mindset that if I have not grown and known so much, then, and in a short while, especially, then I'm not growing. Of course, we can't blame that on ourselves. I can't blame you. I don't blame you if you think that growth has to be fast. That's because we live in a fast paced environment. Many people will not watch the attention time for reels used to be probably 30 seconds. It's shorter now, okay? The moment we are not able to get your attention in the first 5 seconds of a video, you scroll up. There is a very good chance that you do that, and I do that too, okay? So no hard feelings. Yes, it's a fast food. We want it fast, we want it quick, we want it now, quick results and instant transformation. And that's not what growth looks like. Growth is not an overnight success. Anyone who promises you an overnight success, you should actually check out and have a second look at what you are being promised. And of course, there is a famous joke out there about Rome and construction. I saw it on a post, maybe one of those memes, and it was a construction company that was building a space, maybe a road. And and if you're in my city, there is a famous city joke here that there are only two seasons in Winnipeg. The first one is winter, and the next one is construction season. Of course, I hope that made you laugh as much as it did when I heard it, and it still makes me laugh. So this one, the meme that I was telling you about, and as it relates to growth, is that Rome was not built in a day, and if it was built in a day, trust me, we would have used the same construction company. So growth is not instant, and growth is not was not built in a day, just like the massive ancient city of Rome was not built in a day. So some people think if I'm growing, I should see the results immediately. but growth can be slow, growth can be repetitive, growth can be hidden. You don't see growth in one day. One of the things we had talked about in my very first video was how the germination season for a strawberry plantation is different from when you are trying to plant an oak tree or a baobab tree. It takes, the germination seasons are completely far apart. You can successfully have a basket full of strawberry fruits in 2 months when you plant it in summer, including the gestation period. But for some trees, they take roots downward before they shoot upward. And that's what growth looks like. There are some changes, though, that you need, required to be instant. Some habits you need to stop that are deadly, that you need to break free from immediately. Because if you don't do that, it will keep harming and damaging or causing harm to the people around you. However, there are some things that you will have to learn, relearn, and unlearn, okay? And it's painful. It can be slow, it can be steady, but you must not give up on yourself. As long as there is a will, there is definitely a way to go about growth. If the willingness is off the chart, then growth stops. And if we stop growing, we start dying, and that's the truth. Okay, that's on period. Right. So growth can be uncelebrated sometimes. It takes a conscious effort. It also takes growth to acknowledge changes that are seen, especially by people around you. And if people don't see that you are changing, you are growing, you must make sure that you are on the front row seat of your own fandom. All right. Celebrate your own growth. Acknowledge where you used to be and acknowledge where you're going. It's a very important lesson. If you have not learned anything in this video today or in our conversation today, you must learn how to celebrate your own growth. Okay? I said what did I say you should do? How can you celebrate your own growth? Type it in the chat. I want to see it. I want to see it. If you caught it the first time, I want to see it. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, you must be in the front row seat. Buy out the front row seat of your own fandom. Be your own number one fan. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. All right, because you may not notice growth. People may not even notice growth daily, but you will notice it over time. Maybe the way you would actually speak to people, like I talked about in, on our June 19 video of how we transfer aggression to people around us. Maybe you're taking that step to actually breathe in and breathe out, breathing exercises before you actually speak. You're waiting 10 seconds, 20 seconds before you respond. That's actually growth in motion. So think of maturity. All right. Maturity is built in consistency. And consistency is not a steady, it's not a steady, pace. And it's not, if you're going to use like a heart map, pardon me for the nurses and the doctors here, I can't remember what it's called. And I'm heart stroke. Thank you. It came to me. Yes, the heart stroke. It's never steady. It goes up and comes down. And that's what growth also replicates. Some days you get it right, other days you're flat on on your face. And then the most important thing is that you pick yourself up and you do it again. All right. That's what growth looks like. Growth is consistent. Consistency doesn't mean that you are on the same pace all through the week. You are going to have days up and you're going to have down moments, okay? But you must keep going. Never stop growing. And maturity and growth, growing in your mindset, is also built in obedience, in the little things that you do, even in your obedience in your relationship with God. That's what it looks like. And it's built in small choices, making a decision about your appearance, for example, choosing to make a decision about what programs, what courses you want to take, what is the next thing that you want to learn. All right, you must always have a quarterly review, a half monthly review, for yourself, biannual review of yourself. What did I learn last month? What did I learn over the quarter? What am I looking forward to learning? It's time to pick yourself up to learn something again. And that's what it looks like. That's what growth looks like. The growth mindset never rushes the process. Rather, we respect it, and you are not behind. Okay, take that from me. Type it in the chat. Say, I am not behind. Yes, yes, absolutely. I'm seeing the comments. I'm not behind. Yes, yes, I am not behind. I am becoming. Say that again until your heart believes it and the people around you see it. All right. Okay, I'm taking a breather and I'm doing the final one, the final myth for today. Okay, remember I promised that I have a special announcement after this episode and after this broadcast. So wait until the end so you can hear it and you can share it with your friends. Okay, so the final growth myth is that the growth mindset is just about hard work. I just need to be hardworking and I'm growing. I just need to be a hard worker and I'm growing. It's this hard work that has turned some of us ladies and women into, hardened minds. Yes, please don't come for me after this video. It's that hardness that has brought out masculinity in some of us who need to be feminine, who need to learn softness and tender power. Yes, I said it. If you heard it from me, believe it. Okay, so, but it's not about hard work. It's about efforts, and your efforts count. Remember, I said efforts count. Don't just give up after now and say, well, Abisola told me that growth is not about hard work. No, there is effort that needs to be made when it comes to growth. And effort is not alone, it's not enough. Effort alone is not enough. And that's where I come in, all right, as your coach. People burn out because they believe if they try harder, I will grow. That's not how growth works. But growth requires reflection, growth requires wisdom, growth requires rest. Yes, growth requires rest. I remember a famous story of a young man whose name, is Jacob. He left home, duped his brother, ran away, but he got to an end of himself. He couldn't keep running. He had to come to a point where he would encounter change and he will encounter growth. And so he rested. And it was when he rested that he got a fresh revelation about the direction of his life. And from that moment of rest, he was a changed man. Okay. So growth requires rest. Growth requires support. You don't have to do it alone. You have support, a support system around you. And I'm looking at you right through this screen. Okay. And alignment. Growth requires alignment. So trying harder without direction leads to exhaustion. There is a famous saying out there that if no matter how fast you run in a wrong direction, I think it's a Japanese saying, I can't remember, a Korean one, I can't really figure it out. So if you know the source of this comment, and if I'm not citing and quoting it correctly, please go ahead to put it in the comment section of this video. If you're watching it as a replay and if you took your moment to Google it, please go ahead to put the right quotation for this quote there on the comment section. But it means no matter how far you run in the wrong direction, you will not get where you need to get to faster. You will not meet, you wouldn't get to the end of your goal. So unless you turn around and go in the right direction that you go, only then do you hit the goal or get to your desired success. So trying other in the wrong direction does not equal growth. However, true growth asks better questions. And what are the questions that we must ask ourselves when it comes to growth? You have to ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Growth requires objectivity, being objective and not subjective. Many of us humans are very subjective when it comes to our own lives. We think about us as where I am right now. I'm the best at it. What I'm doing right now is the best of me. You would have heard things like, "Oh, I can't change. This is just who I am." Who told you that? Don't give yourself an applause unless you're actually trying, and you must try in the right direction. Okay, you ask yourself, what needs to change? What am I doing right now that I need to stop doing? What needs healing? You have to remember, I said, don't shut off grieving. Don't shut off, the feeling of grief and loss. You must embrace that pain and channel it for strength. What do I need to heal from? What is the rejection I've experienced in my past that I need to heal from? What is the experience of others? Yes, that I've taken on as my own identity that I need to break free from. What needs to be released from me? What unforgiveness am I holding on to that I need to let go of? What needs strengthening? Remember, we talked about honing down on our strength while we build capacity to grow out of our weaknesses. Yes, the growth mindset is not grinding, okay? The growth mindset is not an endless grinding. Yes, it's not an endless hard labor. It is growing intentionally and especially growing with consistency. So, in summary, today, a growth mindset is not fake positivity. If you've not learned anything since the beginning of January 12th, you should go and watch the video. But here's the summary. Growth and growth mindset is not fake positivity, and it's not doing everything. Remember, we never say no to help. We never say no to help, receiving help. All right. Having a growth mindset is not painless. Having a growth mindset is not instant. It's not instant noodles. Having a growth mindset is not just hustling only, just trying by your own strength, hard work. However, and growth is not self-powered, okay? Truth remains that growth is honest. So you must adapt the honesty mindset, the objective when it comes to reviewing yourself. What do I really need to change from? Especially when people around you, family, your partner has been complaining about the same thing. You need to come to a point where you say, okay, what exactly is the problem? Is this person just overreacting? Or is it just me who needs to make a change so that I can enjoy the relationships around me? So growth is patient, growth is purposeful, growth is consistent. It's like a heart stroke. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, but you cannot be up all the time. And it's okay to not be up all the time, because as long as you pick yourself up when you are flat on the face. Yes, for my spiritual family and Christians out there in the world, growth is spirit led. Okay. And for everyone, yes, it comes from inside out, really. So if you're growing slowly, you are still growing. And if you're struggling, you are not disqualified. If you are learning, learn again. Okay. And God is still working, is working it out, is working for you, is working it out through you so that you can be the best version of yourself. Okay, now that we are done with the growth mindset, let me tell you something. February is a fun month, okay? I'll tell you something. Haha. I have another session that we'll be looking at and exploring in the month of February. February is the love month. Everywhere you go, they are spamming you with love songs when you go into the stores, emojis of pink hearts and red hearts and all the things going around in the stores just so that you can buy. But let's come back to talk about growth and relationships. In the next 4 Mondays or so in February, we'll be talking about growth and relationships. So share with your friends. Look forward to the things that will be coming onto your screen. And until then, I say ciao, bye, see you soon.